The Tale of Rhy Shen, Chapter 2, Inner Callings. One could fairly argue that Bo Yang was, by all sane standards, the most unhinged alchemist in the Guild of Teal, though none would dare deny his brilliance. This was the first time Bo Yang had opened a sphere with precision, far better than the random, disturbing glitches that usually tore through Teal. Yet something about this young arrival that called himself Rhy Shen felt off. A wild spark gleamed in Bo Yang's eyes as they fixed on Rhy Shen, who could scarcely sit upright after his strange arrival in this world.
Our new arrival looks like he's made of clouds. I want to inhale him. We have the technology to inhale him without Juru Hocus Pocus, do we?
Yesod laid his forehead against his fingertips and tried to soften his temples.
Bo Yang, please behave yourself. If anything, we should kill him and transfer his Aetham life essence into charm stones. We could get hundreds of years of raw energy, or light up the entire free city for a few miserable hours.
Manic curiosity danced in Bo Yang's eyes when he heard Yesod's words.
Utterly delicious! Truly, what a tragedy it would be to waste such an opportunity to fill our charm stones.
Rhy Shen felt the weight of their gazes, as if they could see through his very bones while they kept discussing his fate. Alchemist Thos surveyed his colleagues from behind the magnified lens of his enormous round glasses.
Gentlemen, let us be reasonable. This Rhy Shen is just a child. Look how afraid he is.
Bo Yang rolled one eye in irritation.
Philosophy won't run the machines, Toss. Power does.
Toss' lips quirked into a smile, formed from amusement and calculation.
Oh, I'm aware. But why waste him, when we could send him to the Black March Forest to collect charm stones for our cause? We haven't even asked where he came from. Maybe his prior location had something to do with the fact that the sphere actually worked this time. Have you spared a thought on that, Bo Yang?
Bo Yang's behavior made no sense to Thos whatsoever. The mad alchemist had spent nearly a decade trying to coax a living being out of the countless things. Yet Thos still wasn't certain whether this Rhy Shen had arrived from anywhere at all. Finally, he turned his attention to the boy, his gaze sharpened behind the magnified lens, appraising Rhy Shen like a specimen under glass.
Can you fight, ghostly boy?
Without a second thought, Thos snatched a copper pipe from the table and hurled it straight at him.
Ah! What the?
Rhy Shen flinched and threw up his hand to shield himself, but the pipe passed cleanly through his chest and struck the floor behind him. Rhy Shen's astonishment outshone even the disbelief of the four alchemists. He reached for the piece of metal, only for his hand to pass through it, as though he were made of vapor.
Fascinating.
What? What was that?
As Rhy Shen rose, his pale aura deepened, spreading outward like ink dissolving in water. He struggled to make sense of himself or even his surroundings. Every wall of the room was a tangle of pipes and cables, all converging on the circular platform where he had appeared. Rhy Shen couldn't tell if there was even a sky here, only the tight, metallic maze surrounding him.
Is this hell? Maybe a new punishment from the Grandmasters? Are you even real?
His questions went unheard. The alchemists had already leaned together, absorbed in their own discussions, as if they were deciding what to have for lunch.
Excuse me?
Again, his voice was swallowed immediately. The four high-ranking alchemists barely noticed his frustration. Even with the speech bug in place, Rhy Shen couldn't make sense of their words. They flowed past him like indecipherable code. Every now and then, a head would rise from the circle, scanning him with suspicion before sinking back into the murmuring group.
Allow me for once to utter the obvious aloud. This arrival could become a problem.
For the first time during today's sphere opening process, Alchemist Herma spoke. In a heartbeat, the room went silent, even the tubes at the machines. When the Secretary of Safety in the Alchemist Guild used her voice, it signaled an immediate crisis. That was without question. Alchemist Yesod couldn't agree more and took the matter seriously.
Exactly. The boy is unstable, hardly the efficient Atham worker we expected.
Yesod didn't even realize that Herma's warning had meant something entirely different. In fact, she saw the same immense potential in Rhy Shen that Thos recognized in this homunculus-like weakling. But beneath the surface, Yesod was already calculating how to erase him for good. If not stone, could fire be wielded to snuff this ghostly anomaly out of existence? Both Herma and Yesod spoke with the crisp certainty of those accustomed to precision. They had anticipated a reliable, controllable force from the sphere, not this half-formed spectral anomaly that called himself a name.
Don't be so negative, my dear colleagues.
Bo Yang bent down his head to his own theatrical words and rose his arms up high before he declared,
Today, we have reached milestones in the development of the Atham utilization. No matter if it ever becomes a problem, we will be strong enough to deal with any problem by the time this arrival could do us any harm.
Oh, he will, believe me.
Herma didn't even try to show any respect to the other alchemists, openly acting as if they were morons compared to her intellect.
Excuse me?
Summoning every ounce of courage, Rhy Shen rose abruptly.
I demand to know what is happening to me. Where am I? What year is it? Where are the Grandmasters? Is Mio still alive? I have a right to know before you get to talk shit about me.
Boy, I'll tell you everything you want. Just for heaven's sake, take a sheet and do not break anything.
Thos slapped the back of his left hand over his eyes and fumbled wildly through the cluttered shelves, finally yanking a lab smock off the metal rack and shoving it toward him. In order to take the cloak, Rhy Shen finally loosened the grip of his fingers. A glowing lump slipped from his hand and hit the floor. Its light faintly rippling through the smoke in trembling shades of gold.
I can't even! Did our arrival just lay an egg? I told you that he is bird-like.
While the others were still cringing, Thos's eyes sharpened.
Interesting.
He clutched the glowing orb before anyone could give too much thought to the moment's significance.
That should answer the question if this boy has any value to us.
In the same elegant movement, Thos closed the distance to Rhy Shen, letting his hand glide through the spectral face in front of him with an unsettling fascination while he spoke.
I get it. You want answers. That is only reasonable. Listen. All we can tell you for now, boy, is this. Nothing from your prior life still matters.
Rhy Shen's face hardened, though he knew the man was absolutely right. Whatever had happened to Meo and the others was not for him to know. Ever. Perhaps this uncertainty was still part of the punishment he so thoroughly deserved.
My dear colleagues, this specimen from the sphere is coming with me. I need to conduct a series of experiments to assess his physical state and determine the extent of his vitality.
Though his tone was gentle, yet carried the certainty of command. He let Rhy Shen's puzzled face come into focus and stared straight into his jade-green eyes.
I'll make you my protégé. What do you think of that? I have a few other scholars, you know. They are just very, very different from you.
Rhy Shen's spectral form hovered, still, as something deep inside him stirred.
Do not be anxious, ghostly boy. I am confident we can identify some practical applications for an entity like you, even if you are incapable of producing any Atham.
What? Why should I follow you? I don't trust you one damn bit. In fact, you are all completely untrustworthy, waking me up in this shady cellar that could be anywhere in the White Kingdom. And you haven't answered any of my goddamn questions.
Rhy Shen swung his elbows to push Thos, only to feel the alchemist's form melt away through him, soft and insubstantial as drifting snow.
Noted. Aggression persists, despite total lack of effect. Remarkably primitive.
Yesod tugged the collar of his long apron up and drew his shoulders in, bracing himself. He didn't even make an effort to speak to Rhy Shen. Instead, he turned to his colleague.
Very well, Thos. That is enough. You may take him, but you will assume full responsibility before the lead alchemist for any consequences. We cannot even confirm whether this specimen could be utilized to power our machinery, assuming we can even kill it. Proceed with your investigation. Find out, and quickly, if a method exists for utilization, termination, or both. Report back immediately with any findings. Is that clear?
Those three colleagues stood shoulder to shoulder, isolating him as the sole target of blame for Bo Yang's reckless decision to open the sphere before the reactor was fully charged.
The Jurul people won't be pleased if they find out where the ghostly entity came from. In fact, no one will. Some things must remain secret. None of us knows this better than you, Thos.
Thos laughed with a slight bitterness in his voice and waved the concerns off with his hand. He nodded to Rhy Shen, giving him no other option but to follow him. Rhy Shen hesitated, but staying in this cellar with three murderous scientists didn't seem like the wisest option. So he followed the alchemist in the long white apron, feeling the weight of resistance deep in his bones. Behind them, Bo Yang's mad eye never left the boy until they went out of sight. And above it all, the machines pulsed, alive and hungry, already sensing the storm this ghostly boy had carried into their midst.